Anyway, hey guys, I'm back in the game. Again. This is a new episode, and today I don't have a topic. Again, I listen. I will cut out this part, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe I'll put it in the end as a disclaimer. But I kind of feel like I want to start making this sort of ADHD type of podcast because there is this girl, Medley Argy, and she makes podcasts and she puts them out on YouTube, and I love her. I love her personality. I love her. I like everything about her. Like, I'm actually in love with her, if I'm gonna be honest. And I kind of like want to steal her. I don't want to say style, but I like the way she is making a podcast, and the way she's making them is that she just like talks about random stuff, what's happening in her life. Like, it's like a diary, to be honest. It's more like a diary, and she just talks about random thoughts that she has, and it doesn't look like she has any sort of topic to discuss. Like, she's like, today I'm going to tell you this, like, this is what the value is going to be. This is how you're going to capitalize on this new valuable thing that I'm going to put you on. No, she's just like, I have weird thoughts, and I went to therapist, and weird things are happening in my personal life, and whatever. And I like this, and I will do the same, and I hope nobody minds. Also, I feel like maybe I should, okay, give me a second. I don't know if this was the weirdest decision I've ever made, and I don't know if the recording is still in that good quality, but I was getting irritated with this stand. Like, this stand, it's just, I don't know, it always falls down. It doesn't want to stay on these like 3 legs, and it's bad. It irritates me so much. It shouldn't be irritating. Oh my god, I can't. Stay away from me. Literally stay away from me. What does it fall down again? Like, I swear, I cannot deal with this. I cannot deal with this. Like, there was a fine line, and it was crossed right now. Anyway, I want to just kind of talk with you about my life and what's happening and what's going on. Genuinely, what the hell is going on? So I actually feel a little bit stuck. I feel confused and I feel stuck in my life because I've been through a lot of changes, as you can tell by the previous episodes, and I've kind of like radically changed my life in a good way. Radical for me, because it's not radical for any external observer, I think. I mean, I guess you could say, like, if you're my friend, you know that I've changed a lot, but if you're just my acquaintance, like, don't know me that well, you probably feel like, well, whatever. Like, she changed a little bit. Like, she got her hair, like, that's the only change she did, like, whatever. But the truth is, there were a lot of changes, and it's kind of like I was living in this high for a couple of months where I thought that, wow, like, my life is so good now. Like, I get to do what I love, and it's just amazing, and I was so happy. But the new year started, and obviously I made like millions of goals for myself, and I'm like, I need to achieve all of this, and I will. But, obviously reality is different from your imagination, and it's a little bit hard to realize one day when you just kind of, after doing something for a long time and being consistent and putting all the effort in, you always feel like, it's going to pay off. And then at some point, it just like doesn't pay off anymore. And you almost feel like, I really want to give up. But then you're like, well, I don't want to give up because like I believe in myself. But like also like, I was like, who am I even doing this for? But then you're like, well, you're not doing this to get success. You're doing this because you just kind of, there's no other way for you to exist because it's the only thing that you love. And so you just keep doing it. But then it also doesn't ever, change anything. And so you just like live in this constant stuckness of like, I do what I love, but then at the same time I kind of want more, but then at the same time I don't know how to achieve that. And like, there are so many different things I could be doing at the same time, and it's just so confusing. Also, a lot of my I'm in a senior year of my university, and obviously everybody's talking about what you're going to do after graduation, where you're going to go, are you going to get a master's, are you going to go to the workforce, what the hell is going to happen? And I'm studying business, and so a lot of my classmates, well, how to say this, like, whatever, classmates, they already actually got accepted in different master's degrees abroad, which is fucking awesome. I'm really happy for you guys. Not to mention I'm jealous as hell, but like, let's see where I'm gonna go. And I also feel like I have kind of I have so many different ideas of what my life could be, and where I could go after university. But I'll tell you this one thing, I definitely don't want to go to university. I hope that scholarship doesn't watch this video because I applied there. And like, no, like, how do I word this? Like, I do want to have this sort of like experience of living abroad and, you know, experiencing what it's like to be a sort of like, you know, academic weapon abroad. But like, at the same time, I'm so done with studying. Like, you don't even understand how much I'm done with studying. I think even last year I thought I want to go to master's, and I even had some sort of like motivation and interest in studying. But this year, when I started to do the things I love, which is making music, I'm like, this needs to stop. Like, I cannot do this anymore. I literally hate it. I literally despise it. It's like, I don't know what happened, but I'm just like, I'm not an academic weapon, and I cannot be. Like, over my dead body, I cannot be doing this again. And I used to be the kind of person who would, you know, always be like, I need A's. And now I'm just like, let me fucking pass. Like, if I can pass, I will be grateful, I will be thankful, I will be happy. But I know that I need a high, it's like, if I want to go to the master's, I need to have a high average, you know, grade. But at the same time, I mean, I have a pretty high average grade overall for the past 3 years. But if I want to go to the master's, I need to keep up with it, and I need to still have a pretty high grade and like keep it up this year. But it's already like in the dipshit, and like, what the hell am I gonna do with my life, right? If I don't go to university. And you might say like, well, you just, you know, keep working, keep doing music, but like I have too many different ideas, and I don't want to do simple basic things. And that leads me to another problem, which is being scared of taking risks. And it's like, it's not even a risk. It's not even a risk. Like, it's just overthinking, you know, because, you know, what taking a risk is like jumping off a cliff thinking that you're not going to die. This is taking a risk. This is being stupid, but I'm saying that the things that I consider taking risk is not really taking a risk. It's more of like, you just live your life and explore different opportunities, and you're like, where it's going to lead me, I want to know. Like, it's not actually about being extremely risky, but I have this, I mean, maybe it's not just me, I feel like we as people tend to overestimate some things. I think I watched this video about like smart and dumb people, and the, you know, the Dunning-Kruger effect, that smart people believe they're dumb and dumb people believe they're smart, just because, you know, the smart people are like, I know there's so many things I don't know, and so you feel like you are dumb, but when in reality you're not. And there's also this actually statistics that people that are the richest people on earth are actually dumber. Like, you know, if there's a graph of like, on one line you have, on the x-axis you have the kind of your IQ level, and on the y-axis you have money, richness, then the graph is like, it goes up, and then it goes a little bit down. So at the richest point, people are actually getting dumber. I mean, maybe that's because, you know, money makes you dumb, and you don't, at some point, like when you're extremely rich, you just like, it doesn't help you. But I feel like the point is that, I don't know what the point is. The point is that, like, my ultimate goal in life is to be a musical artist, to be honest, and being able to make money with music and just perform and make art. That's it. That's my ultimate goal in life. And obviously have a certain level of lifestyle and live in a certain country and all of that. But it's like, it's all very vague, first of all. Second, I know that in order to achieve these things, I need to do a lot of work and put in a lot of work that I am doing, but like, there's no guarantee that you're going to achieve anything in this sort of industry. There's no clear path. There's no, if you are, this is this, and you're going to, like, this is not a university environment, you know, this is not a corporate job. And I kind of did think a little bit about the fact that, like, once I am out of the university, all the reliability in my life is going to be over, because my entire life I've lived in the kind of typical limitations, frames of a person who is just following the normal path. You know, I didn't do anything extraordinary. I was just studying and studying and studying, and logically, as in any typical person, I would, go to the master's and then probably get a corporate job. That would be a logical path, but that's not what I want to do. And so it's like, I know that, no one can stop me from going on a different path, but the question is, how am I going to sustain this, and who's going to be responsible for it? Obviously me. I'm going to be responsible for all the actions that I take. And I mean, I've always been responsible, but it's like, now that I'm taking actions that are a little bit more different from the average route, I get a little bit scarier, because I'm like, am I sure that I want to do that? Like, I stop myself, and I want to call it a self-sabotage, but it's almost like I think about everything that I'm doing and about everything that I might be doing, because I have like ideas of what I could be doing instead of a typical route of a typical person. And I get a little bit scared of the possibilities and the fact that if I choose this, I'm going to have to kind of like put my life on stake, as in terms of like, I believe in this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to put effort into this. And it doesn't even like, obviously for anybody externally watching this, it doesn't look like this. It doesn't look like I'm risking something or putting like whatever, like you're creating something, you're putting somewhere out there. Like, it doesn't really change that in your life that much. Like, it doesn't look scary, when you watch a YouTuber, or when you read a book by someone, you don't think about the fact like, oh, they must have been through, like, it must have been scary for them to put this book out. You don't think about that. You just like, oh, a book, let me read it, right? But like, I think probably for the most people, when you are creating anything and putting out there into the world, it's so scary. And it's scary not really because of the judgment or whatever, because like at some point, if you are already writing a book and if you're putting it out there, you got over it. You got over like the fear of being judged or misunderstood or hated on, whatever. You just like, I got it. But it's the fact that you are putting your life on it, right? Because in order to create something that's going to be of value and it's going to be like long term, and you're putting effort into it, money into it, time into it, it's like you are basically putting value in this thing. And saying this is valuable is like putting money into a stock. And if this stock goes down, if it all goes to shit, then you are going to have to be dealing with the losses of money. So it's basically like business, right? And you can create multiple businesses and fail at all of them. And every, entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur knows that. And I just think that it's kind of, and it's not even about like that's first, but if you're creating something that is not just like a business, like separate from you, but something that is based on your personality and is based on you as a person, and it's very public, then, you are taking responsibility for whatever you're putting out there. And it's also the fact that if you are literally living such a huge chunk of legacy of who you are, but in a bad way, like that it's there and it can't go away. And it's like, if it doesn't work out, then it is what it is. What I'm trying to say is that it's scary to do something knowing that it might not work out, basically. And it's not, oh, I remember now. I saw this TikTok. It was a TikTok that was like, you are not scared of judgment. You are scared of other people seeing you fail. And that is such a huge thing, because if nobody, saw you fail, you wouldn't care, right? It's like when you do something on your own and you fail, you're just like, oh, but then it doesn't matter. But when everybody sees you fail and everybody sees how many attempts you make and everybody sees that it doesn't work out every single time, you're like, oh my God, everybody's going to think that I'm a failure, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to look like that to the other people. But then again, it's just thinking about other people's opinion, because nobody actually cares about you. Seriously, guys, nobody actually cares. And so that is it. I don't know why, actually, I have no idea why I have such a strong problem with external judgment. Like, I mean, I guess it's kind of universal among human beings, but I have something that is just not okay. Like, it's just, I have kind of dealt with it in the way that I could deal with it, but at the same time, I'm just like, even right now, when I feel pretty healthy and stable in my mental health, I just still have this kind of doubts and fears all the time. And I mean, I don't allow them to overtake me, but at the same time, I'm like, why is it such a big concern for me? Because I feel like it's something specific, but I don't think I've ever had a history of being, harshly judged for what I was doing or anything like that. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird for me. Also, I have recently decided to maybe restart my childhood sport that I was doing. So, when I was a kid, I was doing taekwondo for like 10 years, since I was 4 years old till I was 14, approximately. And I mean, I was professional. I was practicing every single day for 2 hours. I had a black belt, and I went to national championships and all of that. It was a big thing. It was basically the only thing that was happening in my life for my whole childhood until I was a teenager. And then I got sick and I couldn't do it anymore, and my whole life crashed, and like that's a whole fucking story. But the point is, I felt really resentful towards the sport because I kind of was not forced into it, but a little bit nudged towards it by my dad when I was a kid to just like, I feel like in a lot of ways it was my dad's dream to be like very good at martial arts, and he didn't do that. And so he's like, my kid is gonna do that. Oh, my first kid is a daughter, doesn't matter, she's gonna do it. And so I was doing it, but it wasn't ever my dream. I have different dreams. And so yeah, when but I had a problem with like, if I started, I needed to finish. And so I think somewhere in the middle of it, when I became like a little bit aware of who I am, like, I started at 4 years old. Obviously I was just a kid, but at kind of 11 years old, I realized, oh wait, I'm doing this sport every single day, and there's nothing else that I do. I don't have any hobbies. I don't do anything. And then when I started to build a little bit of a personality, and after that, for I think another 5 years, I was doing it just because, not 5 years, like 3 or 4 years of practicing every single day. I was doing it just because I didn't want to fail at it, and I didn't want to like stop it before I got to at least some sort of result. And once I got a black belt, I think somewhere in my brain, I was kind of over it already. And then I did it for another year, and then I got sick. And I will be honest with you, I was happy that I got sick because I could stop doing the sport. I mean, I wasn't happy that I got sick, but I was happy that I could stop doing the sport. And so what was happening is that I felt really resentful towards it because I'm like, I've wasted so many of my years, my prime years as a kid, that I could have been doing something that I actually love. Like maybe I could have, gone to the singing school or musical school or whatever it is. But no, I was doing this thing that I never cared about. That's a whole fucking story. But basically, I didn't do it. Like I remember I went to last practice, right? And I remember like doing this for 10 years every day. And then I went to last practice, and after that I got sick, and then I was in the hospital, and then I never went there again. And a lot of people, after they have any sort of like injury or whatever, they still go back and like they try to keep up with it to the level that they can. But I just didn't want to do that because actually I hated it. I was so happy that was gone from my life. And I was happy. I just didn't want to come back. But since I was going to the gym for like already 3 or 4 months, I was like kind of getting into sport again, back into sport. And I was like, whoa, sport is actually cool. Like, it's good. It feels good to have a strong body. It feels good to take care of myself in that sense. It feels good. It's just, endorphins, all of that. And I was like, yeah, that I'm back in the game in this sort of way. And then I felt really angry one day, and I was like, you know what I want to do? I want to go and hit like a bag. Like, I need like a boxer's bag right now. I need to bid something. And I went there. There's a boxing place in the gym. You actually cannot go there when there's not a practice, but I still went there, and there was a guy, and he's like, you need to get out of here. And I'm like, can I please just still do it? Still, like, please, like 2 minutes. And he's like, yeah, whatever, okay. And then I did it for like 5 minutes because I'm nasty. Anyway, and so I did it. Like, I just kind of remembered, and it's kind of crazy that muscles remember everything. I wasn't doing taekwondo for 5 years straight, six or 5 years. I wasn't doing any of that. I'm 20 years old. I didn't remember anything. In my brain, I thought I didn't remember, but actually my muscles remembered everything. And so that was kind of crazy and fun. And I did it, and I felt so good. You know how good I felt? And I think you don't know. I think you don't know because when I basically was doing taekwondo, I had a huge thing that I was not a mean kid. I couldn't get angry because in taekwondo, it's obviously like you have to fight. You have to be a fighter, and you have to be angry, like on the person that you're fighting, right? You have to like not only be strong, but you have to be like emotionally strong. You have to show your competitor that you are better and you are stronger in terms of your will, you know. But I could never do that. Because I didn't feel anger, because I thought I didn't feel anger. I think actually I just repressed it, and I wasn't allowing myself to feel anger because of that's a huge other question. But it's related to female rage and the fact that females, this is the worst word, we men in general are not fully allowed to feel rage in our society because it's always like shunned upon. Oh, you said, okay, you're hot, do it. Oh, you feel rage? That's weird. You were kind of mad, right? Well, this is a whole different conversation. We're not going to go into feminism today, but all I'm trying to say is that you have to be angry when you're fighting, right? And I was not angry. And it was like a huge problem because my coach was always like, you need to get angry. Like, why you, like, be angry in front of every, match or whatever we had. And I just couldn't, like, every single time if I won, it was just because of the technique abilities that I had, and because I was like very professional in terms of like movements, but I could not bring myself to be angry at all. And I think maybe that's just because I was like a really nice person. I was a kid, and like I didn't have any anger within me because I didn't have any like big huge trauma to be angry for, and so everything was fine with me, and I didn't have to express myself in that way. But then also maybe I just repressed it. I don't know, because I think I did have some trauma, and at the end of the day, all I'm trying to say is that like I didn't have the ability to express my anger for sure back then when I was a kid. But now, let me tell you, I have the ability to express my anger because I have the ability to express any emotions, because I realized that like I shouldn't be shaming myself for feeling anything, including negative emotions. And when I realized that has actually, changed me a lot, because I felt so much pain, but then I felt it through and whatever. And then I got to rage, and I got to feeling so much anger towards all the things that, I've experienced, and all the people that work me and all of that. And I was like, why am I being nice to you? Like, why am I forgiving you? You all don't deserve me, like, in any fucking way. And so I realized I actually have anger now, and I would have bit the shit out of somebody. Like, and I can't, because I remember the moves. And so I did that, and it felt so good, and I would do it again millions of times. But I don't think if I want to go back to like fully going on like regular practices in taekwondo, because besides fighting and feeling anger, you have to stretch. I hate stretching. I just cannot do it. You have to do a lot of cardio, and like my abilities are not as good as they used to be. And obviously, like, I still have some. My muscles remember the movements, but my body is not as as quick, as slim, as whatever as it was when I was 13. So yeah, but I would never come back to the professional sport, because it was never like, I don't want to do this. Like, no, stay away from me. But I think there was a part of me that kind of wants to rejuvenate this and kind of like finish what I haven't finished in that sense, because it all ended in my life very abruptly, and I don't regret it. Like, I'm happy that it's over, but at the same time, I think that I would be happy to kind of like, instead of repressing it as something that was like a harmful experience in my past, like, for sure, I've never been like, oh, it was disgusting. Like, it taught me things. I think it helped me to build willpower, for sure. It built my strength. It built my core. It built my independence. It gave me so many things. But there were many problems with it in my life. And so when it ended, I really felt like I was just kind of, I don't know, like, it was really abrupt. It was weird, especially like the relationships that I've had with people there. They also ended abruptly, like the team members. It was bad. It was bad. And so I just kind of like, it's not that I want to rejuvenate those relationships, but I'm trying to say that like just as this topic in my life, it was part of my past, and I kind of want to integrate it into my new reality and make it a good thing. I don't want it to be something that traumatized me as a kid and I was happy to run away from. I want it to be something that I did in the past and it made me a more interesting individual. And also in general, like, being able to, be good at any sort of martial art. I think it's cool. Like, it's cool, Like, it's like, you can do that? Like, damn, did not expect that, That's just kind of cool. Like, it feels cool. And yeah, I kind of want to be cool. So this is in other news. What else? Well, and yeah, like, life goes on. There's so many things happening. Actually, nothing's happening. So I'm stuck in a rut. But it's like they're happening in my head, as usual, because I'm a professional overthinker. If anything, this will always be the case. I love it. Anyway, I am waiting on buying a new phone very, very soon, and hopefully the camera quality will be better. Not hopefully, I know it will be better. But I really love making this podcast, and I hope you have enjoyed this episode. If you did, please let me know in the comments. And I really hope that you have a beautiful, beautiful day, week, and month, and year, and life in general. And I just wish you all the best. See you in the next one. Peace out.